All right, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. All right. Let's put our hands together right here. Ah, yes. Ooh, yeah. All right. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All through my city, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, all through the country, yo, I'm gonna let it shine. All over the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, shine, 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 shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Hey. Shine, 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 shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Right. Shine, 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 shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Oh, I said this little light of mine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This big old beautiful light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, y'all, come on. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, yeah. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! Yes, amen.
All right. Thank you, LaRonda. What a blessing. I'm going to let it shine. We welcome you this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland, whether you're here in this space or you are with us virtually and you're a part of our virtual family. We want you to know that wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. As we gather, as we open to a larger idea, first of all, I'm so grateful to have LaRonda Steele, Mark Steele, our band, and the wonderful Portland Interfaith Gospel Choir with us this morning. What a blessing. We are happy. You know, one of the things you can say about this time right now is that there's a lot of change. This service was actually supposed to be done in January. However, some things came up and it got shifted really quickly. You know, the universe has a plan that's larger than we know, and we can get really discouraged with where things are. And if by any chance you've been there right now, I just invite you, we're going to open the service in prayer in just a moment, but I just invite you to move to your heart. Because there is a plan larger than we know. You know, Martin Luther King said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. There is a presence and a power. We can call it God. We can call it a quantum field. We know that it's the energy of love, and it is holding us, sourcing us, and lifting us right now. And I just invite you to join with me as we begin this service in prayer. Oh, yes. Mother, Father, God, infinite Spirit, we open. We open to the realization that there is one presence and one power. It is love, it is life, and it is moving through each of us. And this evolutionary impulse touches us right now. And we open to a larger understanding than we have previously. And we say yes to the divine wisdom that moves through us. We are a part of humanity, and we welcome the change, the lifting, the evolution, the remembering, a cellular remembering that love lives as us this day. For this opportunity to gather in this knowing and to hold the space on this planet where every being is honored, is cherished, knows who they are, and is met with the word yes. We hold this, we know this, and we say, yes, move through us now. And so it is. Amen. And we are thrilled to have you here. Beth is going to share some of what's going on.
Good morning, Unity Portland. So great to see all of you. Boy, the energy in here is terrific. Thank you for bringing it. Yes. It's awesome. So good to be with you all this morning. So at this time, we want to welcome our virtual family. Our tech team is putting up a QR code. If you're interested in learning more about Unity Spiritual Center of Portland, if you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, you can do so by clicking on that QR code and sending us your information. Newcomers will also have an opportunity to do that later in the service. So all of our upcoming classes and events are in our weekly newsletter and also on our website. You can learn all about them there. Today, following the service, is our Beginning Affirmative Prayer Workshop. This is led by our lay minister, Susie Ellen. She'll be in the chapel. It's still not too late to register. You can go today. There's a $25 fee. They will collect that at the door. So we invite you to come and share in that, deepen your prayer life. At this time, I want to introduce our prayer chaplains because prayer life is what we're about here at Unity Spiritual Center. We have 3 prayer chaplains here this morning who are available to pray with you following the service. I also want to let you know that we have a prayer box that will receive your prayer intentions. We have prayer slips in the backs of the chairs and out on the tables. You can drop those in the box. They're held by our prayer team for 30 days. We have a dial-a-prayer where you can call and get a wonderful inspirational message each week. So we thank our prayer chaplains for being here and holding the wonderful consciousness that they do. Next Sunday, we have a real prayer practitioner coming to be with us, Linda Martella Whitsett, who's an award-winning author. She wrote the book Divine Audacity, which we did in our spirit groups a while back. So very, very powerful teacher. And she will be here to speak at our 11 a.m. service. And she will also be holding a workshop following our celebration service based on her new book. And it's entitled, well, the book's not entitled, but the workshop's entitled Heal Your Life. And I love one of the things on her webpage. She says, discover how everything can be right, even when circumstances are all wrong. And boy, it sure feels like that some days, doesn't it? So we're going to learn how to move through all that. So come and join Linda Martella Whitsett next Sunday. We're excited to host her. The following Sunday, April the 10th, following the service, we're going to be hosting a screening of Mission Joy. And this is the movie with the Dalai Lama and Reverend Desmond Tutu. When they wrote this book, the Book of Joy, they had a wonderful documentarian who followed them and filmed them. And this is the story of all that and how we can increase the joy in our life. And we're so excited to be able to share this with you all. That's going to be April the 10th at 1 p.m. following the service, and we're going to try something new. We're going to have a little fundraiser lunch in between for $7. You can join us for soup, salad, and then come and see the movie following. So we invite you all to come and do that, and we'll be doing some signups for that next week. I want to mention Easter's coming. Boy, if you looked at the calendar, Easter's in 3 weeks. It's like, when did that happen? I don't know. But yeah, it's coming. It's almost here. And we're getting ready to decorate our stage with Easter spring flowers, which we do every year. And you can purchase one in honor or in memory of someone. We have these pink flyers that are out on the lobby table. And you can also sign up online on our website and in the newsletter. So 2 places for you to do that. Let's see, the Easter services that are coming up. Of course, we always have that Easter egg hunt for the young people following the service on Easter Sunday. And this year, we're having a special coffee and connection as well. But on Friday, April the 15th, is a very wonderful experiential service that Lisa does for us every year. And this is our Good Friday Forgiveness Circle. So we invite you all to come. This is at 7 o'clock on April the 15th, Friday night, Good Friday. And the sacred stand for forgiveness allows us to move through time unencumbered and free. And boy, we certainly do all want to feel that. And so we hope that you'll come and join us on Good Friday. We're also going to be live streaming it that night as well. Reverend Dick is starting a new class on Zoom beginning April the 19th. That information is in your newsletter as well. He will be studying Stillness Speaks, which is a book by Eckhart Tolle. And that's 10 weeks, all on Zoom. You can find out more on the website and in the newsletter. And if you ever have any trouble and need help with online registrations, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. That's what we're here for. So we're here to help you make that happen. At this time, I think our community outreach is going to come up and show you some items. Our spring community outreach begins next Sunday, our spring project, and it's called Heartfelt Gifts of Spring. There are some flyers out in the lobby which have lists of items that we need that are going to be donated to 3 very special community groups this year, and that's Janus Youth Programs, the Blanchett House, and Beacon PDX Village. So they're holding up some goodie items that we are looking to have. They're going to put together gift kits for us and send those out. And for those of you who aren't into the shopping and all that, we are collecting money, donations, starting next week out at the table and also on the push pay. So we welcome your donations. We'll let them do the shopping for you. It's a win-win for everybody. So we thank our community outreach team today. And we thank all of you for coming. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, and I'm so grateful for our outreach team to be starting another opportunity to just be of service, remembering that every one of us is here to service, to be of service to humanity. As Ram Dass says, we are all just walking each other home. And I just want to take a moment and welcome all of you who are here. If you're new for the first time and Unity of Portland is something that is, you haven't been before, you haven't been in a long time, I just invite you to raise your hand and we'd be happy to give you a welcome packet. Anybody here for the first time or you haven't been here for a long time, we're happy to give you a packet. It's good to have you with us. And I just want you to know wherever you are in your spiritual journey, and we have someone up here. Can I call you back? Yes, there we go. Thank you. We just want you to know wherever you are in your spiritual journey, remember it's a sacred journey. Every one of us is born with what we call at Unity original blessing. We are filled with this infinite creation. You can call it God. Again, you can call it a quantum field. You can call it that very energy of love, whatever it is that you like to call it. But every one of us is walking a sacred journey, and our opportunity to do that is something that fills us. There's a green card in the back of the packet. You can fill that out and turn it in, and we'll put you on our email list so you can know when events like this are happening and other things are happening, and it's a great opportunity for us to gather together. What I'd like you to know is if this community works for you, if this service works for you, and it has a language that supports your spiritual journey, I'd invite you to become a part. I believe one of the most important things we can do right now is to gather together and find ways where we can touch humanity and to all know that we are one. If it does not work for you, I would encourage you to continue seeking. I believe there is a place that will serve you, and we get to just keep going until we find what says yes in our hearts. So it is wonderful to have you here. I want to take a moment and introduce our speaker, Karen Trusty. Now, I think most of you know LaRonda. She has been here. LaRonda is a movement of spirit that happens on an ongoing basis. That's all I know. And Mark, you are that same movement of spirit. You add that joy and that beauty, and we are so grateful to have both of them here. So this service also adds Karen Trusty and her wisdom. And, in the early 60s, Karen worked with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, in that was so important in the civil rights movement. And it was made up mostly of young black activists, such as, I look at John Lewis and others that were so active in that movement. And they went into the Deep South. And they went into the most dangerous areas, including Mississippi and other places. And Karen was arrested and attacked by the Klan in Atlanta in 63 and 64 and went into Mississippi as SNCC staff during the 64 Freedom Summer. She speaks throughout the U.S. informing people about SNCC's activist model and its relevance today. It's so important today for us to be understanding that, and to today's youth, to their determined movement for spiritual and racial justice. What's happening, in my belief, is that there is this evolutionary impulse that is finally breaking through that says, yes, we are all of one source, of one essence, and that it's coming through. And so Karen's been sharing that, and she's been doing it here and in so many different places, and she's been doing deep research into the justifications for slavery that have carried forward into today's world. The education is so important, and so she continues to do civil rights and racism workshops, talks, and classes. She's done classes here before, and she will be looking at one again this fall, the Hidden American History class, because we know we did not learn what it was. So Karen, we're looking forward to having you here. Both Karen and LaWanda have a CD out in the back that has civil rights songs and some of this message that has been shared. So we are blessed. We are so blessed. Thank you, thank you. Okay, what we do get to do is we get to stand and sing. Lift every voice and sing.
Make sure you can see the lyrics. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let's sing it together again. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing arise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Wow, and I just invite you to turn around and just look at the people around you. You are walking with humanity, and these eyes are filled with beauty. You are walking with humanity, and these eyes are filled with beauty. Thank you, and you can be seated. You can have a seat. In just a moment, we're going to have some music, and then we'll have our meditation. And I just want to remind you, as we spend a little bit of time in meditation, one of the things that we believe at Unity, first of all, when we look at Easter, we look at the metaphysical interpretation. What was the spiritual message, which is arising? It's always arising, and there is truth, and there is the divine message of the infinite that speaks literally cellularly to us. And what part of our job is to find that. You know, I look at Dr. Martin Luther King and I say, what can I learn from this being? And what I know is that before he could lead a country or a movement, he had to find that presence in him that was larger than all that was going on around him. He lived in the middle of pain, and he found hope, he found a faith, and he found a God that was large enough, that it encompassed him and surrounded him and lifted him. And so when we are moving inside, I just invite you to open to a cellular remembering of the fullness of love, of spirit, as we move into meditation.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, and I am. God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, and I am.
As we relax our bodies and continue to breathe in this knowing, God, infinite intelligence is the vibration of spirit, happens in and through and as me now. And I allow this movement of spirit in the silence, in the silence. God is, I am. Again and again, I allow these words to move through me. God is, I am. Love fills me now. And so it is. Amen.
Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom. 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 Join me, sing it, y'all. Freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. 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 We fight for justice for freedom. freedom. Fight for justice for freedom. Fight for justice for freedom. 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 Everyone deserves freedom. Everyone deserves. Everyone deserves freedom. 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 Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants. Everybody wants freedom. 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 Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom. 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 Amen. Yes.
In this presentation, oh, I'm so glad to be back here. It's been so long. Woo! I've had myself basically in a closet for 2.5 years, and you know, one of the things I missed the most was this church. So, thank you for having me, Reverend Lisa. In this presentation, originally to celebrate Martin Luther King Day, I'm going to talk about some hidden American history and then relate it to the civil rights movement. You might ask yourself, how come I didn't know this before? Why wasn't I taught this? I want to use 2 historical events, the Tulsa Massacre in 1921 and the murder of John Earl Reese in East Texas in 1955, as my examples of why you've never heard of this. On May 30th, 1921, the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, was a thriving black community, which was often referred as the Black Wall Street. And there'll be a slide up there that's going to show you this prosperous neighborhood. 30 grocery stores, lots of prosperous businesses. And on May 30th, a white man accused a black man of raping a white woman. You can see, that's a going community, right? A white mob rushed into Greenwood, opened fire, including with machine guns, looted and set fire to all those buildings. The death toll was approximately 300, with hundreds more injured and an estimated 8,000 or more left homeless. They bombed, they used airplanes, they used everything. They just devastated the community. At first, the local white officials expressed contrition and said they would rebuild the community. Instead, they destroyed documentation and spent the next 50 years pretending nothing had happened. They erased it from the city's historical record. Victims were buried in unmarked graves. They're still looking for those unmarked graves in Tulsa. Police records vanished. Truthful articles were cut out before the newspapers were transferred to microfilm. A culture of silence descended, and a story of the massacre became actively suppressed. And one of the things I always think with this is that I think about all those black families, African-American families that suffered there, and nobody acknowledged it. It just was pretended that it just went on. And that's been some of the hardest thing about this country, is that they've hidden so much of this. So it was only in 1995, when the federal building in Oklahoma City was bombed, that the news of this previous massacre began to become public. You may think that this was an exception, but this is just one example of the 400 years of suppression of black oppression that has been hidden, covered up by the white myth of American democracy and that all men are created equal. The next song references finding unknown black bodies as the FBI looked for the bodies of 3 killed civil rights workers in 1964. This song was written by a friend of mine, Marshall Jones, who died in COVID, in the first years of COVID. And he was a freedom singer. And SNCC had freedom singers that went all over the country to educate the public about what was happening in the South. LaRonda?
In the Mississippi River, Lord, 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 in the Mississippi River, Lord, 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 in the Mississippi River. They gonna count them one by one. It could be your son. Count them 2 by 2. It could be me or you. Count them 3 by 3. Do you wanna see? Count them 4 by 4. Oh, well, into the river they go. We're gonna count them 5 by 5 with their hands tied. Count them 5 by 5. They don't come out alive. Out them 5 by 5 with their hands tied. Count them 6 by 6. In Mississippi, they got it fixed. We're gonna count them 7 by 7. Mississippi, it sure ain't heaven. We're gonna count them 8 by 8. Yes, they were thrown in because of hate. We're gonna count them 9 by 9. In Mississippi, this wasn't a crime. We're gonna count them 10 by 10. And you wonder when the right will win. Oh, in the Mississippi River, Lord, 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 in the Mississippi River, Lord, 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 in the Mississippi River. We've got to stop them from going in the river. Gotta 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 stop them, yeah, from going in the river. Gotta stop them from going in the river. Gotta stop them.
Joyce Fay Nelson Crockett was 13 years old in 1955, dancing to a jukebox in the Hughes Cafe on a Saturday night in East Texas with her sister and her 16-year-old cousin, John Earl Reese, when 2 white men shot 27 rounds into the black community. The white men were angry about the school upgrade for the, quote, uppity blacks, which was due to a Supreme Court ruling to desegregate all schools in the United States. Texas thought if they built a better school for the black people, that would be, they could get out of the desegregation. Some of the bullets went into the cafe, and John Earl Reese died that day. And Nelson Crockett was wounded. The county government listed Reese's death as an accident, despite Perry Dean Ross's confession that he fired his rifle into the cafe while speeding down the highway with Simpson. I held the steering wheel with my left hand and laid the gun across the left door. I was going about 85 miles an hour at the time. He was actually convicted by an all-white jury of murder, but then was let off the hook during the sentencing hearing after his defense attorney had asked them to, quote, call it a bad day and let the boy go on in life. Nelson Crockett kept the memories buried and tried to stay busy farming her land. In 2009, she received a call from a researcher who was investigating John Reese's death. The investigator of Reese's death was part of Northeastern University School of Law's Civil Rights and Restorative Justice Project. Its researchers examined the more than 1,100 racialized killings between 1930 and 1970 during the Jim Crow era and its immediate aftermath. They dug up new information about unsolved murders, pushed officials to set the record straight, and ask the surviving families what they need to heal. Let's show her picture if you can. And the project was launched in 2007 by Margaret Burnham, who will be up on that screen in a second, who worked with SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, in Mississippi in 1963 to 1965. And I want to say to you that those years in the Mississippi between 1963 and 1965 were the most active years, and so much happened then. I was there in 1964. I lived through it. Most of us did. Clearly, Margaret Burnham did. She went on to become an attorney and a former judge. She said, I became interested in learning how many cases were incomplete, in the sense that no judicial proceeding ever addressed the harms that had befallen these people and the trauma experienced by their families. For more than a year, the country has been gripped by a racial reckoning caused by the high-profile killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and other black men and women. The reckoning has fueled a public desire to re-examine murders that happened decades ago and still haunt surviving families, some of whom have struggled to recover because no one in power ever acknowledged their pain. Can you imagine being Nelson Crockett and after that happening, then going down into a store and everybody pretending it didn't happen? Whew. If they aren't corrected, today the official records of these older killings are often inaccurate. If they aren't corrected soon, the true stories may never come out. Many witnesses to the crime of the Jim Crow era are aging and dying. Burnham's project, which she calls legal archaeology, is part of a national reckoning that is underway. And she uses legal archaeology to ease the kind of intergenerational trauma that silence can mask, that can seep through entire communities. It becomes part of the book of sorrow of the family, Burnham says. Correcting records can help people feel heard. Historians who investigated lynchings were looking at everything except the people directly impacted. Burnham's project is one of the largest of its kind to focus on the families. Burnham's investigation of John Earl Reese's murder led to a reckoning in the East Texas community, a reckoning and an acknowledgement. In October 2010, on the 55th anniversary of the shooting, community leaders gathered in the library in Tatum, where the librarian hung a plaque honoring Nelson Crockett, her sister, and Reese as victims of anti-civil rights violence. The researcher presented the librarian with a binder of her research so people could learn more about Reese. She also developed a curriculum about Reese's story for teachers to use at Tatum High School. This is the one I love. A new sign bearing his name gleamed, a street sign gleamed in the sun. Can you imagine how that would feel? A recognition. It's like we have MLK Boulevard. John Reese's story was up on a sign. I love that. The county issued a new death certificate for Reese, declaring that he was killed by homicide and not an accident. Since the uprising spread after a Minneapolis police officer murdered George Floyd, Black Americans have had a larger platform to share their experience with racist violence. For relatives of people murdered in the Jim Crow era, new killings can compound traumas that began decades ago. These wounds have never healed, said Burnham. There's not a Black person alive today who doesn't know something about Emmett Till. There's not a Black person alive today who won't ever hold in their minds the lynching of George Floyd. These things are traumatic and personal. They leave one feeling a kind of vulnerability associated with race that is uniquely American. The families whose loved ones were murdered during the Jim Crow era were not the beneficiaries of a George Floyd moment, Burnham adds. They did not have access to court proceedings. They did not have lawyers who would work with them to identify a course of justice, and they didn't have community support. Through her project and its focus on restorative justice, she hopes to create that community support for families who never got it by bringing together relatives and neighbors to honor each other's memories and organize for change. She has recently been appointed by President Biden to the research about murders that happened that have never been followed up. It's a federal program that is investigating this stuff. Okay, now we have the choir. The Interfaith Gospel Choir, and they're singing a modern civil rights song and a civil rights song from the civil rights movement.
So wonderful that we had such a wonderful turnout from the choir. Thank you, choir. Thank you. We have been on a... Make sure you can get into your microphone. We've been on a 2-year hiatus because of that thing called COVID. And we just decided to get together, to be in community again, to sing again, to breathe again. And so it's so beautiful that we have the opportunity to be with you, and you all be with me this morning as we talk about civil rights and some of the things that are changing. Yes. All right. Have a wonderful lead vocalist. Miss Jean is going to sing with us today. Thank you.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours, it'll be ours. Oh, one day, When the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. 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 Oh, glory. Glory.
Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Every day, women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. Truant living in us. Resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down and we stand up. Shots, we on the ground and the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, then we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours. It'll be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. 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 Oh, glory. Glory. Now the war isn't over, victory isn't won, and we'll fight on to the finish. When it's all done, we'll cry glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory. Oh, glory. We'll cry glory. Oh, glory. Oh, glory.
Selma is now. For every man, woman, and child, even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They march with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, he rose to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. Enemy is lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing. Our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we found an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs of history. No one can win the war individually. It takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, my eyes have seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it'll be ours, it'll be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory,
Glory, glory,
oh,
glory, glory,
oh, glory.
glory,
Hey,
glory,
hey, yeah, yeah.
glory.
When the war is won, when it's said and done, we'll cry glory. Oh, oh,
Thank you, Gene. Thank you. Bless you. All right. We have one more.
Yeah.
Oh, you just coming
I'm just coming in for a little bit.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Less than a minute, I
Oh,
promise.
sorry, that's-
Now that song, oh Lord. Anyway, by piercing the silence that tends to surround these histories, the erasure, by making it visible, the project places pressure on the society itself to face its history and come to terms the ways we continue to be haunted by these histories and their legacy. We have no idea how many of these things are present in our own minds because we haven't consciously learned them. Out of that pressure comes a larger number of people saying, yes, we have to acknowledge this history, and we have to think about and pursue reparations. That's the only way we can get to reconciliation. John Lewis, the civil rights hero, a long-term congressman, told PBS's Frontline, I really truly believe in the depth of my soul that if we're going to have peace, we're going to have healing. If we're going to move closer and closer to that sense of community, and he always thought of the beloved community, then everything must come out. We must tell the whole story, the complete story. People need to know. Choir will sing Eyes on the Prize.
We welcome Vicki Girardin as lead vocalist on this song. Sing, Vicki.
Paul and Silas bound in jail, had no money for to go their bail. Keep your eye on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Paul and Silas began to shout. Prison doors open and they walked out. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eye on that prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, the only thing that we did wrong, stayed in the wilderness way too long. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. The only thing that we did right was the day we started to fight.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on that prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on that prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, I got my hand on the gospel plow. Won't take nothing for my journey now.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. The only chains that we will stand are the chains from hand to hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on.
A truly believe in the depths of my soul, if we're gonna have peace, the whole story must be told. Keep your eyes on the prize.
Hold on, hold on,
Hold on. Hold on.
hold on.
Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on. Hold on. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Woo! Vicky Girard. You want to take the whole thing? Just wait. Yeah, take the whole thing. Wait until everybody. Wonderful job. Wonderful. Thank you, Gina. Staging here.
Martin Luther King was not only John Lewis's friend and mentor, but also is the most recognized leader of the civil rights movement. In April of 1967, he bravely spoke out against the war in Vietnam. We'll have a picture of him in a minute, of him actually at this speech. It is one of his most famous speeches, not only against the war, but against the greed in America and just a whole bunch of stuff. And this speech really drew him a lot of criticism. He lost supporters and contributors. In his speech, he spoke about how difficult it is to say difficult things and controversial things. To me, it is also very difficult today, for white people in particular, to really learn and tell the truth about race in America, starting from 1619. The following are some direct quotes on his speaking about speaking out. A time comes when silence is betrayal. Nor does the human spirit move without great difficulty against all the apathy of conformist thought within one's own bosom and in the surrounding world. I feel like in America there's a tremendous amount of conformist thought, and that we know that it would be better for everybody if we started talking. And some of us who have, this is Martin Luther King again, that was me, and some of us who have already begun to break the silence of the night have found that the calling to speak is often a vocation of agony. But we must speak. We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision, but we must speak. And that points out, I'm talking now, that points out that we do have a limited vision. We don't know what the end's going to look like. We don't. But we also know that the truth in the moment, some of the truths in the moment that we can talk about, that we're limited, we can be humble, but we can speak. Another, back to Martin Luther King, perhaps a new spirit is rising among us. If it is, let us trace its movements and pray that our own inner being may be sensitive to its guidance. For we are deeply in need of a new way beyond the darkness that seems so close around us. LaRonda will now sing, Guide My Feet.
So Karen said that many of the times, of course, they when they were marching and when they were in meetings, and of course, and in jail, they didn't have the luxury of a full band to follow them. And like in the black church where I grew up, sometimes there weren't any musical instruments. There'd be your voices and a tambourine. I heard, thank you. I heard it. Now I might sing it differently, so we don't know. All right, we just open the spirit. So let's bring our awareness to that time of when there were no instruments, we are the instrument. And a tambourine that probably had 3 rings on it, busted little face, but we still praised and worshiped and came together in community. All right. Guide my feet while I run this race. Oh, guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. I know you got it now. Come on, God. Guide my feet while I run this race. Oh, guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Oh, guide my heart, yeah. While I run this race, oh, guide my heart. While I run this race, guide my heart. While I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Guide my life, guide my life, while I run this race. Oh, guide my life, while I run this race. Yeah. Guide my life, while I run this race. 'Cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Oh, guide my feet, Lord, guide my feet, yeah. While I run this race, guide my hands, guide my hands. While I run this race, guide my heart, guide my heart. While I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Yes. That's you. Blessings. Yes.
Back to Martin Luther King. Perhaps one last Martin Luther King quote is, "I affirm the conviction that America would never be free or saved from itself until the descendants of its slaves were loosed completely from the shackles they still wear." Martin Luther King's organization, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, motto was, "To save the soul of America." As Margaret Burnham puts it, healing requires truth. LaRonda?
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. Yes. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all those chains holding me. And I wish I could say all the things that I should say. I'd say 'em loud, I'd say 'em clear. for the whole round world to hear. Oh, I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all those bars that keep us apart. And I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you see and agree that every woman and man should be free. Oh, I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. And I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do. See, I'm way overdue, and I'd be starting anew. Play, Mr. Steele. Show your love to the band, y'all. Mark Steele. I wish I could be like a bird up in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found that I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea, y'all. And I sing 'cause I know, yes I will. I sing 'cause I know. Oh, I sing 'cause I know how it feels to be free. Oh, I said that I would sing. We can sing because we know. Let me hear you say yeah. Come on, y'all. Say yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. Let me hear you say yeah, yeah. We know how it feels to be free. Right. Amen. Amen. Yes.
Wow. That's all I have to say right now is wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so blessed to have heard this and to look at this. And just as a reminder, I have come both to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. So as just to finish this, so as a white woman of privilege who learns every day more of the privilege I have, and to recognize that we didn't come just to exist during this time. We came with a sole purpose, and you came to be a part of healing humanity. And if you haven't yet learned more of the hidden history, right now is more than an invitation. It's really homework. We need to learn the history, we need to know the history, and then we need to say, how in Portland, in my community, do I become part of that answer? Part of it, if you haven't supported a Black business this week, I would invite you to Google, to put that out there and to begin those steps of touching the lives around us. If you aren't talking to people on a regular basis that don't look like you, I would encourage you to continue to do that and to know nothing hidden heals. Your heart is large enough to hold this, because when we hold it and we learn it, we are humanity. And there is a heart of humanity that has both the ability to lift us, But when it holds something larger, it heals in a way that encircles us all. So we are going to just take a moment. I'm kind of shifting from that, but I just want you to know, by the way, I am looking forward to Greenwood. The Portland 5 has, the National Geographic has their series, and it will be Tuesday evening if you would like to learn more of what happened in Tulsa. It is at 7 p.m. Sally and I are going. I know at least two of us are going, and my daughter's going on Friday. I'm going to see Lauren Steele in Queen's Girl out of Africa at Clackamas Repertory Theater. So if you haven't gotten a chance to see that, just remember, this movement of spirit is happening with us all. So I just invite you right now. We have the opportunity, and I know we have a slide. Oh, it's already up there because I'm probably talking way too much. And, you know, time is not real. I have to remind you right now since we're way over. But if you would like to be a part of this movement of spirit, and remember, as humanity, we are holding for a model of a new economy that honors all beings. And so as we're a part of that movement of the energy, we can just open to a larger understanding because we're the ones who allow it to come through us. All the answers we need come through humanity, and we're a part of that. So as we hold our gifts in our hands, if you'd like to give electronically, you can do it virtually through the phone, you can do it through check, however you'd like to be a part of this. I just invite you to hold your gift in your hand and remember, and I'm going to say a blessing, and then I'd invite you to affirm it with me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And as we hold that, let's do that together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we say, thank you, Infinite Spirit. Our chaplains are here to pray with you at the end of the service. If you'd like one-on-one prayer, they hold that thought. I'm looking forward to going to the affirmative prayer workshop because I know that sometimes I get a little wishy-washy in my beliefs and I can get into fear. But the truth is, when I know that there is one presence and one power, that it sources me, it lifts me, it loves me, it surrounds me, and it moves with me every single day, I feel a little better. So Susie will be sharing that. We are going to stand now and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me. And that, am I missing, am I doing something wrong? Nope, I'm doing it good. Okay. I want you to remember this is an intention we are holding, so allow it to move through your body.
All right, let there be peace on earth.
Yes.
Yes. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, unite by all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Oh, yes, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Yes. Portland Interfaith Gospel Choir, I have been touched at depth. Thank you for honoring us with your gifts. Thank you, thank you. LaRonda, you bless us. You bless us. And you bless this world. We're going to just close with our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, Karen Trusty. We love you. You are powerful. She'll be teaching a class. Have a love-filled week.